In the heart of Baltimore, there are men and women who wake up each day with no place to call home, no safe place to rest their heads, no sanctuary from the hardships life has thrown their way. These are not just statistics, they are our neighbors, our fellow citizens. For many, the road to homelessness is paved with misfortune, illness, or loss, and it's a path that can affect any of us. As the crisis deepens, one question remains: when did we stop seeing them as people? As a society, how much longer will we allow this suffering to persist without action? Baltimore, once a beacon of industrial prosperity, now faces a deepening homelessness crisis that echoes the broader challenge of homelessness in America. The 2024 Annual Homeless Assessment Report reveals that over 400 individuals in the city lack shelter each night, a number encompassing veterans, families, seniors, and those grappling with addiction or mental health challenges. Downtown Baltimore streets, where shelters are stretched beyond capacity, reflect this harsh reality. Tense crowd sidewalks and makeshift encampments sprawl across public spaces, serving as stark reminders of a system failing its most vulnerable. Take the story of Maria, a single mother who lost her retail job during the pandemic. Unable to cover rent, she and her 2 children were evicted from their West Baltimore apartment. For months, they drifted between overcrowded shelters and temporary accommodations, their lives unraveling through no fault of their own. Maria's experience is far from unique. Many among Baltimore's homeless once led stable lives with jobs and homes that's only to be undone by economic hardship, soaring rents, or personal struggles. The city's homelessness rate has surged by 15% since 2020, driven by systemic issues that push people to the margins. Beyond the numbers lies a human tragedy. Each individual represents a life disrupted, a future put on hold. The diversity of those affected: a veteran battling PTSD, a retiree priced out of housing, a youth trapped by addiction, highlights the complexity of the crisis. This is not just a local issue, but a reflection of homelessness in America, where economic and social failures leave millions without a safety net. Why does a nation as prosperous as ours allow so many to live without a home? Addressing this crisis demands more than quick fixes. It requires a profound commitment to understanding its roots and pursuing systemic solutions that restore opportunity and dignity for all. To grasp the homelessness crisis in Baltimore, we must delve into its underlying causes, which stem from a complex interplay of economic, social, and systemic failures. At the heart of the issue lies a severe shortage of affordable housing. In Baltimore, the average rent for a 1-bedroom apartment surpasses $1,600 per month, while low-wage workers earn a median income of just $25,000 annually, according to 2024 city data. This stark disparity, worsened by gentrification, has turned once accessible neighborhoods into exclusive havens for higher-income residents. Longtime Baltimoreans, unable to afford escalating rents, face eviction, with many slipping into homelessness. The National Low Income Housing Coalition underscores this as a national crisis. No state in the U.S. offers a minimum wage worker the ability to afford a market rate 2-bedroom apartment. This housing unaffordability is a cornerstone of homelessness in America, pushing countless individuals to the brink. Equally critical are the challenges of addiction and mental health. In Baltimore, roughly 35% of the homeless population battles substance abuse, with opioids like fentanyl driving a devastating epidemic across Maryland. Mental health disorders such as depression, anxiety, and PTSD are just as pervasive, affecting a similar proportion of those without shelter. Yet access to treatment remains critically limited. City health reports indicate that only 30% of those needing addiction or mental health services receive them, leaving many trapped in a cycle of despair. Without adequate support, securing stable housing or employment becomes nearly impossible, perpetuating homelessness in America. Economic instability further fuels the crisis. Baltimore's economy, once anchored by robust manufacturing jobs, has shifted toward low-wage, unstable work in sectors like retail and the gig economy. For individuals with limited education or criminal records, finding reliable employment is a formidable barrier. A 2024 study from the University of Baltimore revealed that 45% of the city's homeless population identified job loss as a primary trigger for their situation. The loss of income, coupled with Baltimore's high cost of living, can unravel a family's stability in mere months. For example, a single missed paycheck can lead to eviction when rent consumes over half of a household's income. Social and political factors also play a role. Insufficient public investment in social safety nets exacerbates the problem, as federal and state funding for affordable housing and social services has not kept pace with demand. In Baltimore, public housing waitlists stretch years, and subsidies reach only a fraction of those in need. Moreover, systemic inequities such as discriminatory hiring practices or barriers to accessing healthcare disproportionately affect marginalized groups who make up a significant portion of the homeless population. These intertwined issues, housing scarcity, untreated addiction, and mental health challenges, economic precarity, and inadequate policy responses create a vicious cycle that entrenches homelessness in America. Addressing this crisis requires not only acknowledging these root causes, but also committing to bold, coordinated solutions that tackle them head-on. How can a city or a nation justify such systemic failures when the resources to address them exist? The homelessness crisis in Baltimore extends well beyond those living on the streets, reshaping the city's social fabric, economy, and political dynamics. Public spaces from bustling downtown areas to neighborhood parks feel the strain as unsheltered individuals seek refuge where shelters fall short. City data indicates that Baltimore's primary shelters, designed to serve 1,900 people nightly, consistently operate at capacity, leaving hundreds to sleep in alleyways or vacant lots. Consequently, local residents and shop owners voice growing concerns about safety litter and the declining appeal of commercial districts, which impacts foot traffic and business revenue. The public health implications are equally severe. Without stable housing, individuals face elevated risks of chronic conditions, mental health crises, and infectious diseases. Take Sarah, a 45-year-old woman who has been homeless for 18 months, struggling with untreated hypertension and anxiety. "I can't get regular care," she shares, "and it's hard to stay healthy out here." Her experience reflects a broader trend. Baltimore's hospitals have seen a 25% surge in emergency visits from homeless individuals since 2020, costing the city an estimated $10 million annually in uncompensated care. Poor access to sanitation fuels outbreaks of illnesses like RSA, which can spread beyond the homeless population, threatening community-wide health. Politically, homelessness in America sparks heated debates in Baltimore. Some residents demand stricter ordinances, such as bans on loitering or encampments, arguing that these measures preserve neighborhood standards. However, such policies often displace vulnerable individuals to less visible, more dangerous areas, hindering access to services. Others advocate for investment in rehabilitation and housing, but budget constraints. Baltimore allocated just $18 million for homeless services in 2024 limit progress. The stigma that paints homelessness as a personal failure rather than a systemic issue deepens divisions, making consensus elusive. How can Baltimore reconcile the concerns of its housed citizens with the urgent needs of those without homes? Economically, the crisis strains resources and stifles growth. Businesses near encampments report reduced customer visits, with some estimating a 15% drop in revenue, according to a 2024 local commerce survey. Meanwhile, the city's infrastructure buckles under the pressure of maintaining public spaces used as makeshift shelters. These challenges highlight the interconnected costs of homelessness, affecting not just those on the streets, but the entire community. Addressing this crisis demands a balanced approach that considers both compassion and practicality, ensuring Baltimore remains a vibrant, inclusive city for all. Baltimore is working tirelessly to combat its homelessness crisis, yet limited resources and systemic obstacles hinder progress. The city's shelter network offers beds, meals, and basic services, housing over 700 people nightly. However, with demand outstripping capacity, hundreds are left to sleep in the parks or alleyways. How can a city provide safety when shelters turn away so many? To tackle long-term solutions, Baltimore has adopted Housing First initiatives, which provide permanent homes without preconditions, coupled with support like mental health counseling and job training. Since 2021, these programs have housed 1,600 individuals, with 82% maintaining stable housing after 18 months per city records. What could your community learn from this approach? Outreach efforts form a vital lifeline. Mobile teams of social workers and healthcare providers distribute food, clothing, and medical care to those on the streets. Groups like Helping Up Mission reach over 4,500 individuals annually, fostering trust to connect them with housing and recovery services. These teams are essential for engaging those hesitant to seek help due to past trauma or distrust. Have you ever considered the barriers preventing people from accepting aid? Prevention programs also play a key role, offering emergency rent assistance and legal aid to keep families housed. In 2024, these initiatives saved 700 households from eviction, a critical step in stemming the tide of homelessness amid soaring rents. Innovative collaborations are gaining traction. Baltimore partners with nonprofits and local businesses to fund job training, empowering individuals with skills for stable employment. A 2023 pilot program with employers placed 250 formerly homeless people in jobs from retail to construction. Additionally, rapid rehousing initiatives provide short-term subsidies to move individuals into permanent homes quickly. These efforts show promise, but a $20 million funding gap, as reported by local advocates, limits their scale. How might businesses in your area contribute to such programs? Despite these advances, the gap between need and resources is glaring. Baltimore's homelessness programs operate on a $22 million annual budget. Far short of the $85 million experts' estimate is needed for comprehensive solutions. Coordination between agencies is improving, yet many still struggle to navigate fragmented services. These initiatives reflect Baltimore's resolve, but they highlight the urgent need for greater investment and collaboration to address homelessness in America. Share your thoughts in the comments. What innovative solutions could Baltimore adopt to close this gap? By amplifying these efforts, the city can move closer to a future where everyone has a home. Addressing homelessness in Baltimore requires confronting a web of systemic challenges, from housing shortages to societal attitudes. The most pressing issue is the lack of affordable housing. The city needs an estimated 10,000 additional low-income housing units to meet demand, yet only 1,000 have been built in the past 5 years, according to the Baltimore Housing Authority. Gentrification continues to displace residents, and public housing waitlists stretch for years. Without bold action, this gap will only widen. Mental health and addiction services also remain critically underfunded. Baltimore has just 200 treatment beds for over 1,000 homeless individuals struggling with addiction, and mental health services reach only a fraction of those in need. The opioid crisis, particularly the spread of fentanyl, has intensified this challenge, with overdose deaths among the homeless rising by 25% since 2021. Expanding treatment capacity is essential, yet budget constraints limit progress. Social stigma poses another barrier. Homeless individuals are often unfairly labeled as lazy or dangerous, fostering policies that criminalize rather than rehabilitate. Laws banning public sleeping or loitering push people into hidden corners where they are less likely to receive help. Shifting public perception toward compassion and understanding is crucial for meaningful change. What would it take to move from judgment to solutions that uplift rather than marginalize? To address these challenges, Baltimore could look to successful models elsewhere. Minneapolis, for instance, built 5,000 affordable housing units in 3 years. By increasing property taxes on high-value developments, a strategy Baltimore could adopt to fund 2,000 new units annually. Seattle's job training programs have placed 600 homeless individuals in stable employment since 2022, offering a blueprint for workforce integration. Expanding addiction treatment, as Los Angeles has done by doubling its rehab capacity, could also make a difference. A coordinated approach uniting government, nonprofits, and private sectors is essential to scale these solutions. By investing in housing, healthcare, and jobs, Baltimore can break the cycle of homelessness. Walking through Baltimore, from the lively inner harbor to the quiet alleys where tents line the sidewalks, the human cost of homelessness hits hard. These are not distant figures, but our neighbors. People like Maria, a single mother fighting to keep her family afloat, or James longing for basic medical care. Homelessness in America is not just a policy misstep, it is a moral failing, exposing a society that has let too many fall through the cracks, abandoned to a world that often looks away. This crisis challenges our deepest values. If we cherish justice and empathy, how can we accept a reality where millions live without shelter? The stories of Baltimore's homeless are more than accounts of struggle. They are a clarion call for systemic change. We must push for policies that address the root issues. Baltimore needs 10,000 affordable housing units to meet demand, yet only a fraction are built annually. Mental health and addiction services are critical, with just 200 treatment beds available for over 1,000 in need. Stable jobs like those created in Seattle's programs that employed 600 formerly homeless individuals offer a path forward. These are not mere ideals, but necessities to break the cycle of homelessness. Our nation has the wealth to end this crisis. The question is whether we have the will. What society do we want? One that lifts up its most vulnerable, or one that turns its back? The answer lies in the choices we make, the policies we champion, and the compassion we show. Baltimore's streets reflect not only a local struggle, but a national test of our resolve. We cannot ignore the faces behind the statistics, the lives yearning for stability. By demanding affordable housing, better healthcare, and economic opportunities, we can build a future where everyone has a home. Let us act now, ensuring no one is left behind in a country capable of so much more. Conclusion. The homelessness crisis in Baltimore is a stark reminder of the broader struggle of homelessness in America. It is a crisis rooted in systemic inequities, unaffordable housing, inadequate healthcare, and economic instability that demands more than band-aid solutions. While Baltimore's efforts, from shelters to prevention programs, are commendable, they fall short without greater investment and coordination. The path forward lies in bold policies building thousands of affordable homes, expanding treatment for addiction and mental health, and fostering job opportunities for those on the margins. This is not just Baltimore's fight, but a national one, calling on all of us to act. Share your thoughts in the comments. What can we do to ensure everyone has a place to call home? The time for change is now, and it starts with us.